The Himalayan 452, the BMW 310 GS, the KTM Adventure, off-road and touring motorcycles. But on bikes like these, or for that matter any adventure bike, the rider frets a fall. So to say, it does not fret, but it's a part and parcel of riding. But in case of a fall, the accessory that comes into play is the crash bars. Scientifically designed, strong, solid crash bars is after all what we are all in for. So Zana this time has also done what it always does best. Design crash guards for the Himalayan 452 that looking beautiful, lightweight, do not impede with your off-road or on-road riding whatsoever, and protect the engine and the tank bay area in a very good manner. We've gone through a lot of designs while we were developing this unit, and finally this is what we have come up. Now the chassis this time on the Himalayan is a step above for Royal Enfield as well, done as a modern style of chassis. A very strong point here is the engine mount area behind the sliders. So we had to choose a base or a foundation for the slider as that point. Right above is where the bolt is mounted on to the chassis. The bolt is neatly covered by a Zana branded plastic cover. And down here is another plastic cap that covers the connector rod mounting mechanism. Towards the rear section is an aluminium bush with a washer and a bolt that goes through right here. Now while we were designing this crash guard, we made sure that it does not obstruct your knees, your legs, your thighs while you're sitting or standing and saddling. And we had to make sure, like I just said, that the slider takes support from this main engine mount bay on the chassis. For example, I'd like to state, if we had moved this position of the slider below this mount, it would be hanging in air. And in case of a fall, just crumple in, giving the way in without any support. So Zana has used this point, like I rightly said, but to provide extra support, we also use the point right above and through a tube section so that the bolt gets extra grip onto that chassis mounting point and does not let go. We neatly covered it with a plastic cap so that water does not enter and dissipate into that tube section, which can lead to eventual rusting. These small points, we had to make sure that we deliver from a product that carries the brand name Zana. Now if I had to say, moving this slider up or down from this mounting point as here would really lead to a weak set of sliders. If you notice carefully, especially on the inline 4 Japanese motorcycles where you actually put in a frame slider, this kind of a mount is already present and given by the manufacturer to mount an accessory like the frame sliders. With that same logic, we have mounted this slider right here. Towards the lower end, we made sure that the overhangs of this crash guard are not too wide. Why? Because when you lean your Himalayan during off-road conditions, you don't want boulders or road to get in touch with this point. It'll just catch hold and make you tip over. So this was deliberately kept inside and the sliders jut out just a bit wider. Towards the rear end, like I just said, this tail provides very high stability to the entire system from the rear end. And this crossbar here protects the lower engine bay. When it comes to Zana and the design, we want to make sure that your bike looks beautiful, is amply covered and comes with a slider. Now this slider, the good thing is it's made of a dense polymer. You can just replace this slider from a new one if in case you encounter a fall and it gets damaged. So towards the lower end of the crash bars, we made sure that the connector bar, which provides the highly desired rigidity, the reason is simple. In case of a crash, you want all the accessories to crumple away from the motorcycle. Using this area to through a connecting rod is like putting your engine to an unwanted risk. What if the crash is such that the bars collapse and the connecting bar itself goes and damages the engine? You don't want that. The manifold, the engine, they should all be safe. So we wanted to make sure that the connector bar is given a route that is away from the motorcycle, outside. These small things make a big impact in case of crashes. Now we can't predict how and where and with what intensity the crash is, but we can also make sure that in case of a crash, the damage, the impact is kept to a bare minimum. With that in mind, we thank you for watching this little information video on the crash bars, the Type 1 from Zana. You can order this at a special launch price on our website, zanamotorcycles.com. Thank you.